Morning.
Morning.
Please mute yourself.
Hello?
Please mute yourself, but I cannot do it. Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, good morning for everybody. This is the second session for B1 version 10 Delta workshop, and we would like to review with Christian the new functionalities. And for today, we talked that we should speak about the sales, purchasing, and service, financial management, project management, and inventory and distribution type of changes. Yesterday we spoke about the web client and administration type of changes, and there was some questions to web client. The first is that data ownership, is it supported or not? And I can tell you that the data ownership is supported in web client, but not supported at the moment the serial and batch management. So you cannot manage the serial and batch type of management on the web client. And additionally, it's important that we will communicate soon the upcoming development, the future development for web client. At the moment, I cannot tell to you more, but actually we will have a communication about the newcomers, the new functionalities. Okay, the rule should be the same. That please, if you have questions, please drop to the chat. And at the end of the topics, we can answer to your questions. Yeah. So let's see the sales and purchasing type of changes. The first is what we have, the document printing. I would like to show my screen. In case of document printing, in case of sales and purchasing, we have some change in the document printing menu. So if you choose the document printing, you can see a new. You can see a kind of selection criteria, adding selection criteria like business partner code from 2, customer group, vendor group, and some properties. And you can reach these selection criteria in case of sales, purchase document, payments, tax invoice, journal entry, good receipt and good issue, inventory transfer, production order, service call, service contract, and bill of exchange if you have bill of exchange. In case of other documents, you cannot see anything. So for instance, the pick list you cannot see, but if you choose maybe the purchase order, and as I mentioned, and in the what's the news documents, you can find that which one you have this type of filtering if you would like to use. So this is the first change in the sales and purchase area. The next one is in case of sales invoice, there's a possibility, let's see the last one, there's a possibility if the invoice is closed, you cannot modify the due date. But if the invoice is open, you can modify the due date. For sure, the due date modification will be stored into the changelog in the tool menu. So in the changelog, you can see that what was the changing. So if I change it change this field, in that case, you can find the result in the changelog. The new function, this is not a new functionality. The new functionality is that you can edit the due date field on the purchase and sales invoice after the invoice is partially reconciled. But the due date cannot be earlier than the latest reconciliation date. So it's really important to know that if you have partial payment or any reconciliation, of the invoice. In that case, you can modify the due date, definitely, but you cannot modify earlier than the latest reconciliation date. In that case, I think it's not a how can I say, can cause a big issue, but in some localization, in some industry, really frequently they change the due date. And in some countries, it's almost prohibited to change this type of information on the invoice. But anyway, this is the second change, that you can modify the due date if you have partial reconciliation, but you cannot modify earlier than the latest reconciliation date. Okay, the third one, what we have, the backorder report. So if you go to the sales report, if you go to the sales reports, after that, you can find the backorder, and one second. Okay, and after that, here you have some possibility that this backorder report now can show to you the reserve invoices, the sales reserve invoices that are not fully delivered or not fully credited, regardless the payment status. So here you can see the order delivered and backorder. And I made an example, for instance, here, that we have a document, maybe this one. Yeah, but it's not a... I have to check because I made before a kind of reserve invoice for you for the demo. Is a reserve invoice, and this is the invoice number. And if we go to the backorder report, in the backorder report, oops, not that one. I think the customer code would be better. Yeah. And as you can see here, that we have quantity 2, or that one. Let's see the next one. Yeah, here. The quantity is 10, and here the quantity is 10 and delivered 3, and in the backorder report you can see this reserve invoice, and this is a new in the 10th version, that on the backorder report. I don't know in which country and which localization you use the reserve invoice. In general, in the Business One, some industry, they use the reserve invoice in case of, or instead of the down payment in some industry, in some business, when needed to pay before the delivery. And if you buy, for instance, building construction material, first you have to pay, and after that, based on the after that you can get the delivery note. But you can find in case of bigger item or heavy item, similar situation in some bigger furniture department store and so on. So the reserve invoice can be helpful in some cases, and the backorder report can help to you on this way, because we have this possibility now. The sales and the next one, the sales or purchasing document adding. Before the 10th version, if you create any of document, and if you choose the customer and the item, it's not important which one. But after that, when you add the document, the system by default create an empty form, and you had a possibility to create a new invoice. And in that case, if you press this one, you can see an empty form, but in some cases the users would like to review again or do some additional activity with this document, and in that case there was a really hard searching process. In some cases they use this last record, but was in some cases, if they have more series, numbering series was really hard. So this is the reason that we have a new functionality in the 10th version, that if you create a new document, any of document, you can see an option in adding button that add the new, which was a original one and by default before the 10th version. We have a new add and view and add and close, I mean the form. So if you press to here, in that case, the system show to you the latest document, what you added now, and you can do additional activity like printing or preview or something like that. And it's really important that the system will, if you create a new one, the system remember the latest option, what you choose. So I think it's really helpful functionality for you, and for you, for customers. Okay. The next one, what we have in case of sales, the procurement confirmation wizard. In case of sales and purchasing, where is my mouse? This is the purchasing, and there's a procurement confirmation wizard in which you can create a procurement confirmation. Maybe you know that if you would like to create a relation between the sales order, sales quotation, and the purchase order, purchase quotation with a procurement confirmation wizard, you can do, which is a really helpful functionality. The functionality itself is the same. So if you choose some customers, I don't know, and after that you can see these customers invoices, sales orders, and you can choose maybe more. After that, there's a possibility to choose on the third step the price model. So if you change to gross price model, in that case, related the relevant vendor which originally added to the item, in the item master data. In that case, the system allow to you to modify the price model row by row, item by item. For sure, in that case, we will create purchase orders or purchase quotation and so on. But in some cases, purchase order and maybe production order as well. But in that case, in the purchase quotation and order case, I can imagine this price model has a relevancy. So this is the new functionality that you can modify the price model on the third step of procurement confirmation wizard. And in that case, the system automatically can create a purchase order or maybe purchase quotation based on this price model and create a connection between the sales quotation and sales order. So this is the price model on the third step of procurement confirmation wizard. The next one, the activity reports. If you go to the activity reports area, which is in the business partner master data, and there's the activity reports or activity overview, I think this is better wording. There's a possibility now to use a user-defined field selection. So if you have a user-defined field selection to the activity, maybe that is validity maybe, and the rule is equal, and yeah, maybe yes. Okay, and after that, the system show to you the activity in which the validity is yes. So it's a big, not a big change, but maybe helpful for others. If you use user-defined fields, you can use in activity overview. By the way, the activity is really relevant area, and there's a lot of area on which you can use. So this is a kind of jolly joker in the business one, and you can use a lot of reasons. So I think this change can help to you and would be really helpful for you in implementation. Okay, the next one, the open item list, what we changed. And if we go maybe to the, let's see the sales, but you know the open item list, if you open it, in that case, you can see every of items in it, so not only the sales. The changing on open item list is that we have possibility to add more columns to the open item list. So if you go to the form settings, we have more the owner. This is a new, but by default is inactive, invisible. But owner, sales employee, remarks created by, contact person, payment terms, and BP project, which are the possibility. And additionally, you can see the user-defined field in document headers. You can have a possibility to add a column to here. So this, so the form settings in the open item list, we have more header options. So it's in that case the open item list more helpful and more easy to use for more reasons. Additionally, in this report, if you choose maybe the sales quotation order, purchase request, purchase quotation, purchase order, maybe sales order, and choose one or more, there's a possibility to close or cancel them. So if you have technical orders, mainly on purchase side, because purchase quotation, and you don't want to do it because this is a parallel quotation, which you ask only because of the price, much more easy to close from here than from one by one, from maybe from the document area form. So maybe this is a option. And in case of return request, good returns, you can have only, this is the good return. You can have, I have no at the moment. In that case, you can have a close possibility only. Okay, so this is the second option, second change with open item list. Good. Okay, the next one. Maybe everybody faced with a strange situation in case of documents. If you choose maybe ER invoice, is a sales invoice, and if you have a sales invoice which is open, there's a possibility to modify the UDFs, and on row level, there's a possibility. I can imagine, I can find some. Maybe not here. On row level, there's a possibility to modify the UDFs. I try to switch on because I made one. Yeah, UDF R. And I cannot modify, but I don't know why. Because in that case, this is was an inconsistency that the row level UDFs cannot modified, but the header level can be modified. So in the 10th version, there's a possibility to switch on or switch off this problem on row level. If you go to the administration and document settings, and if you choose the AR invoice, document settings, and if you choose the AI invoice, there's a possibility allow update user-defined fields when document row are not editable. Yeah, and if you accept it, after that, there's a possibility to modify the row level. Unfortunately, only the user-defined fields, but in some cases, we can imagine more fields to modify. For instance, the project and controlling codes, which can be modified in the journal entry as well. But anyway, at the moment, in the 10th version, we can modify the user-defined field on row level if we approve it in the document settings related to the relevant document. Okay, so this is the next, I think, good change in the 10th version. In the document settings, we have another new setup in the administration system initialization document settings, which is if you choose the sales quotation, the default validity date, you can set up that what will be. So if you add 1 month or maybe 2 months and update, and if you create a new sales quotation, the system automatically can add these 2 months to the valid until date. It's a 10th version new functionality. The display or hide drop-down list option, this is the next one in service module. In service module, there are some field on the service call, which is the service call, the call status, origin, problem type, and subtype, call type, and so on. And there's a possibility, if you choose define new, there's an active sign about the non by default or system fields. And if you switch on, after that, you cannot see. So this is the possibility. We have no authorization for that. So actually, it's, yeah, this is only a give to you a more simple. So if you have a choosing option, it's not valid anymore, or maybe you don't want to use anymore, can help to you decrease the mistake maybe with it. Mm-hmm. Nice. Somebody is on non-view.
Dobra, a jeżeli chodzi o tę umowę zlecenia, bo są jakie same warunki, by miał 1000 zł netto, tak?
Okay, the next one, what I would like to mention, the PEPAL. The PEPAL, I add to here something. The PEPAL is a pan-European public procurement online structure. This is a kind of international electronic invoicing platform. There's a lot of rules and specification in it, and this is a European standard. And any European government institution for procurement processes, this is the basic kind of initiate. And the Business One, from the 10th version, there's a possibility to manage based on the electronic document framework, the PEPAL. We have and we will have more enablement for that, but I would like to mention to you really shortly only the sense of the PEPAL. So actually there's a sender company, and within the European Union, country by country, can have some certified access point in which on specific format you can send your document to the mainly document to your access point, and after that within this PEPAL infrastructure can send this document to the receiver, and no need to transfer in that case this document to your vendor company, and in that case In that case, maybe much more faster, much more, how can I say, safety, this type of document change between the customer and the vendor. And the Business One 10th version, we have possibility to manage or join to the PEPAL system. So in that case, if we have a Business One, we can export the document via electronic file manager mapping and with the electronic document framework. And when we export the document in the PEPAL system, send to the vendor, and after that we can import the document to the Business One. In specific countries will be valid this type of logic, and the change in the Business One, what you can see if you go to the administration system initialization document details in the not here, but sorry, the document settings. Yeah, here the electronic documents, you can see PEPAL setup option. I hope and I think in the future we will have more demo and more training about that. Only one thing which good to know, that actually we have a PEPAL kind of layer for the electronic document framework. Additionally, for sure, we can use the original one, because in a lot of countries we use the original electronic document framework layer. The electronic document framework is nothing else than create a kind of electronic footprint about your document when you add the document automatically. And after that, via Vivanai or any other logic, you can transfer this document to the recipient or manage this document. So this is the logic, and the PEPAL is one of the layers of this electronic document framework what we have in the 10th version, and the trainings will follow. The details training, hopefully we can use more reasons this type of new functionality within Central Europe as well. Okay. The next possibility, but I think this is not a real huge feature, but yeah. So if you go any of document, maybe let's see the sales invoice. In the sales invoice, we have sales and purchase documents. Every of sales and purchase document we have in accounting tab a create QR code form. So here you can enter every of information what you would like to use for QR code. And after that, in printing form, printing layouts, you can manage, you can add this QR code. So it's nothing else than a field in which you can summarize the information what you would like to apply as QR code in a layout. But and you can use some additional add-ins, maybe free of charge add-ins, some source library that what can create QR code. Frankly, it's not a huge change because you can create UDF for that. It's nothing else. But anyway, we have in the 10th version a dedicated field for that. This is nothing else. Okay. In the purchase quotation, the next one, in the purchase quotation, we have a possibility. If you go to the purchase quotation in the 10th version, you can find the group number series as well. So on the purchase quotation from the 10th version, we have a second series that you can use for some reasons. If you go to the administration system initialization document numbering, you can see in the purchase side, yeah, quotation numbering series and purchase quotation group numbering series. So this is the new functionality. The main reason of this enhancement, if more users do purchase quotation, in that case they can more easier distinguish between the purchase quotations, and maybe would be more easy to create purchase quotation from a draft with a group number that is already used in another purchase quotation. So this is the two logic. By the way, in case of sales quotation would be the same logic, but we have only in purchase quotation this type of option at the moment. And again, you can find in the numbering series, this is the purchase, purchase quotation here, this type of group option. Okay. Next one, the equipment card in sales in a service. In case of equipment card, now we can have multiple business partner in case of equipment card. So if you have an equipment card on which you would like to change the business partner, there's a possibility. And after that, if you would like to change, but maybe not this one, which I changed before. 1 second. No, not that one. Okay, so actually there's a possibility to change the business partner code if you would like to change because of some reasons. Before that was not possible. And in addition, when you create a sales invoice or delivery for a new business partner, with an item is an existing unterminated equipment card, the business partner can be automatically added to the equipment card. So if you have a equipment which has a service number, serial number, and after that you get back from the previous partner and you would like to give to another partner, there's a possibility. And in that case, no need to create new equipment card, what was possible in the past. So this is another change. Additionally, we have some change in the financial management. The journal entry remark would be bigger, or actually is bigger. In the financial journal entry, we have bigger remark. If I view the system information, this is at the moment 254 characters. Earlier that was 100 or 150 something. So actually this is bigger. The next change, but is not a big change, but may be helpful. The financial reports that you can now open accounts and business partners master data directly from this report. So if you go to the financial reports, maybe, and these financial reports, the balance sheet, trial balance sheet, and the budget reports as well. If you see maybe the balance sheet, this one, and go down level, you can see here the yellow arrow, this one, and you can drill down to the chart, the GL account, direct GL account. This is small, but maybe helpful change. Okay. In the year-end closing, we have a multiple branch option. So you can close, you can do a period and year-end closing by branch. This is the next in financial area what we have. But actually there's more thinking and more examples when somebody use or manage more separate legal entity by branch. But actually, I can tell you that it's not a offered direction by the Business One solution management. Actually, you can use if you think, and if you have no maybe bigger or deeper financial area or controlling. But the thing is that the intercompany integration is the way if you would like to build up the holding structure and do some master data distribution and do some consolidation within the holding. But technically, there's a possibility in some small company, in some cases of small companies, to manage this branching model on this way. In UK, we have some related new tax regulation to create automatic journal entry, which is not related to Central Europe. I don't want to, and some in India we had some additional legal change related to the financial area. So that was the short overview about the new functionality, sales, purchase, service, and financial changes. I would like to check which one. I will go to here about the will be super if the reconciliation wheel has an event in the integration framework. Maybe we can ask Christian that what's the comment on that.
Basically, the object type 321 can be used for internal and external reconciliation, and that's working.
Yes, but earlier was not working, I think. So it's a relatively new functionality. Am I right? Because the DI was not supported the reconciliation, internal reconciliation before.
Yeah, but in one of the patch levels for 9.3, this internal reconciliation moved to the DI, and I just verified right now on patch 2 for 10.0, and I'm getting the events for internal and also for external reconciliation.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. If you have no any other question, Christian, I think you should speak some words about the rest of.
Yes. Then let me start, and just a second, I will need to find my slides. First of all, I would like to start with the project management, and as you can see, we have a huge list with one entry. What happened there? The Gantt chart had been changed, and if we are going to move to the project management in Business One, and we will find any of the existing projects what we are working to, then we can see the dates, how the whole project is currently scheduled, and what are the due dates, what are the starting dates. And as soon as we will jump to the Gantt chart by using the right cross click, we are able to modify that specific dates, especially by moving this little icons and changing and extending that specific dates. And if I will press now the update button, just check the end dates. It is 11th of May, and the due date for the second stage is end of April. And if I will now refresh the object, then these properties should be changed. Let me increase that value a bit for the second stage. Yeah, and now it is changed from end of April to 5th of May. Then in terms of the project management, the Gantt chart had been changed, and you can use this visual tool to reschedule your project stages and the overall project, and it is more intuitive and more visually available for rescheduling the projects. Then that should be everything about the project management. Let's move back to my document, and we will continue with the inventory and distribution. The first entry in this list is the unit of measurements group. It means it is possible to now change the unit of measurement group for the items, but with certain conditions. It means if we will move to the item master data, then we can existing item, the unit of measurement group, and the main condition here is the declaration of the units of measures must be the same. It means it should contain the same units. Let me open the definition. Yeah, now it's coming. For example, if I'm selecting one of the group and I'm looking for the group definition, then you will need to enter the similar entities directly to the new group, what the old has. And after that, it is possible to change the unit of measure for an existing item. This feature was not available in the earlier releases of SAP Business One. The next topic is also related to the item master data. And as soon as you are changing item description for an existing item which belongs to the bill of materials, then this change of the item description would appear also in the bill of materials master data entry as well. Then let's have a look how it is working. Let's pick an existing item from the production. Let's move to the bill of materials. Let's select the existing one. And I'm navigating right now directly to the item master data. And let me just change the new description, the description of the specific item. Let's refresh the bill of materials, and as you can see, the new description is here. And this is how it's a small feature, but it's more bringing closer the user experience to the real life. Let's move to the next topic. And yeah, for certain objects like the reserve invoice or the inventory transfer request, now it is possible to update the serial numbers and the batches. Let's move to the inventory transfer request. Let's pick an existing inventory transfer request. And how to do that, if we will just select the serial number and serial number transaction, then as you can see, now this is using the ABC 06 entry, and this is allocated for that specific inventory transfer request. And if I would move to the quantity option and I will select the Control tab, now I'm able to remove that ABC 006 and assign there a new one. Let's update the document, and now the document had been successfully updated. And as you can see now, the latest serial number which is assigned to that specific document is ABC 007. You can see the history here. Previously the 05 was assigned, then I have changed it to 06, and now the actual number is 07. Let's move to another topic. No, not that one. Group name enhancements. Basically, this is a the field length was enhanced for the item group names, and previously it was shortened than 100, maybe it was 50 only, but now it had been extended to 100 in order to have a much more meaningful and a customizable character length for the item group name. Linked arrows. Basically, in the bill of materials from the parent item, you can really navigate to the item master data window instead of the bill of materials window. And we can have a short look. Let's move to the bill of materials back. And as you can see, each item now can be opened directly from the from this specific bill of materials window, and you can reach the item master data. Even the parent item can be accessed directly here. Then this is the new enhancement in terms of the bill of material and its relation to the item master data window. The next change what had been introduced in version 10 is the unit of measures, and now it is possible to activate, deactivate each set of units of measure in also for an already open documents, and it will be working in certain circumstances. For example, if the document is still open, then that specific unit or measure will remain there and the specific document will still use it. As soon as the unit of measurement entry is inactive, then this would be not possible to select for new documents at all. It means if we will navigate back to the unit of measurements group definition, and let's take the last one, then you can see it is possible now to activate and deactivate each entity for that specific unit of measurement group, and it will not influence the existing open document because the existing open document will be able to work with that specific entity as well. But now this activation and inactivation works generally for an already actively used item as well. We have some additional serial and batch trace reports. It means we can use the we can use this specific reports to track all the activities which happen forward or backward in the serial numbers, and let's have a look to them. These reports can be found directly in the inventory level. Let me close that specific windows. First of all, just to clean up my screen. And if we will go to the inventory reports, then we will find here two additional reports which are related to the serials and batches. Let's pick the first one, the forward report. Let's execute it for the full range of batches, for example. And let's see what kind of reports we might get. It means this specific batch number is related to this item, and we can see what kind of documents was created for them. Let's have a look. It's a good receipts PO, and this is that specific document where it was used. The next document is the delivery note. Is the delivery, and also it is listed here. By using these reports, which are exposed here in the inventory reports, now it is much more easier to really trace the serial numbers and batches, and see what kind of relationship to the documents had been made with them. The next enhancement is again a report. This is FIFO related consumption report, which use the layers of that usability. And let's have a look. This is located also in the FIFO layers reports, and this is part of the inventory reports. And let's open it and let's see what we can do with it. Let's select the items, and here it is possible to select only those items which are managed by the FIFO inventory valuation method. The others are not visible here. And in the current database, we have 3 entries. Let's try to expand them. And for example, for the first item, as you can see, the initial material, it's an inventory evaluation, but here you can see what kind of levels had been made for that. This should be a good receipts PO, good receipts, and also the additional good receipts where the specific value of that specific item had been changed, and this is listing all kind of transaction which are touching the actual cost of that specific item, and you can list them one by one. And this specific activities are represented in the layers, in the layer IDs. And if you want to see only the first few layers, for example, the few 1, then you can just easily change that specific level here, and you will get only the first level only. Because in the production usage, the levels can be really it might have a really huge number of the levels and layers, and with this method you can easily view them and check them. Also, it should be a very helpful report if you want to see what is the valuation for a specific item and how it had been consumed in the life cycle of that specific product. Let's move to the next topic. An inventory valuation report. Previously, it was not part of all localization, but now in version 10, this is part of for all localization. And inventory valuation simulator, let's have a look to that. Inventory valuation simulator report. This report is also part of the inventory reports. And let's see what we can do with them. First of all, we will need to select some items. And let's see the test 1 and test 2. Oops, not that one. Test 02. And we will do the recalculation to moving average, because previously we have learned that those items are calculated by the FIFO, and now we will use the moving average recalculation method to see what would be the cost of that specific item by using a different stock calculation method. It is listing all kind of transactions, and as you can see, this is the end result. You can really recalculate in general, but also we can tick them. It should be run item per row, and then unfortunately we are not able to recalculate the test 2 because it is having the same recalculation method, and that's good, because if we will double check the item master data test 02 and the inventory data, we can see it is using the moving average. In this case, it is making sense, as this is showing an error message for us because we cannot recalculate the moving average back to the moving average. It's a unnecessary work, but we can use some weighted average, for example, because we know as none of these items is using this stock recalculation method, then we can just view them in one row. And as you can see, based on this stock evaluation method, the prices of those items are listed here. Thank you very much. I guess we have finalized the topic about the inventory and distribution. And let's move back to the chat and let's see whether we have any kind of questions.
Irina has a question. Do we have a report that will show the current stock split by FIFO layers? We have no reports, Irina. We have in the inventory transactions. There's Christian. Can you go there? Maybe.
Yeah, let me go there.
Transactions and inventory valuation. Not report, normal transactions. Up. Not list, not report. This is a transaction because we have no report.
Let me inventory
transactions. Yeah.
Transaction. This is it.
Choose the inventory transactions as menu.
Okay. Inventory transactions and
inventory evaluation. And if you have a, yeah, okay. Okay, for the others. So if you choose here a FIFO type of item, you can see the layers down. Oops. Yeah. But one by one you have to. By the way, I already encourage the support and the development to it because they have a script, as I remember, in which we can get these layers in report. You can grab the script maybe from the if you switch on the trace functionality, and after that you can see the select maybe. So, but yeah, that is what we have now.
Yeah, this is a very common way how to get some kind of insight, what kind of data is captured in Business One. And the most easiest way is to use the SQL version because you will execute the database profiler and all the SQL statement will be captured there, and you can create a query based on that specific queries which are inside of the Business One. But unfortunately, we do not have such kind of report at the moment. But you can
helpful, agree, by the way. So would be really helpful.
Go to Influence portal and create a new item.
No, I don't think so. That needed a new. I think you have to vote an existing one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another question.
In the Gantt chart, does moving one of the stages result moving the next automatically? Basically, No, you will need to define it. You will need to define it because there is no relation between the stages, and if the first stage can end, there is no relation in the stages. In this case, you will need to manage it by yourself or using that specific Gantt chart to specify. But we can have a look. If there is no additional question, then let's go to the project management. For example, if I'm extending this one, then it doesn't necessarily change the stage 1. But of course, if I'm changing the overall, no, it is working. It is not changing the other stages.
Request in some other SAP ERP S4 or by design, there's this possibility, but in that case, you can see a kind of, how can I say, relation between the two stages. And in that case, there's a possibility, but this functionality is missing here, from here, I think, yeah.
Yeah. Basically, there is no relation. In this case, you will need to manually handle them.
Maybe next version, yeah.
Does updating the item name just work with the production bill? We can check it. Let's go to the production. And we would like to update the item name backwards. Am I right? Now let's put here description 2, for example. But I have a feeling that it would not work. No. No, it is not working. No, because this has a one-to-one relation to the item master data, and as soon as I'm trying to change it here, then this cannot find the right entry in the item table.
Okay, looks like cost center code can it be in haste? What do you mean, Irina? Cost center code can it be?
Maybe the length of the field. Okay, the length of the field. Yes, it can be, but it is not enhanced yet. In this case, you will need to create a DRQ or post the idea on the idea place, because this action needs to be delivered directly in the patch level, and you cannot customize the field length.
And there was more request, and as I remember in the customer influence, we have more requests when somebody would like to change on a closed document the cost center and profit project codes in reflect with the journal entry, because if you have a document on which there's some controlling codes, you know, the dimensions and project codes, and you cannot modify it. But on the journal entry, you can modify. So actually, this is a kind of inconsistency, and there's there's a request in the customer influence that would be nice if we can modify on document level as well this type of codes. For sure, in case of cost center codes, you can use distribution rules which you can modify by time or in time range. So this can give to you a kind of possibility for that. But yeah, so this is a missing functionality now. Yeah. Okay. I think we have no other question, Christian. So so we can finish for today, and tomorrow we will back again, and we will speak about